everyone. Welcome to another horror review. Just picked this one at random. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie. And I just thought, here, do you know what? We need a laugh. It's a weekend and all that good stuff. So, this was done by 1988. Typical British campy, sexual overtones beating you over the head, comedy horror. Got a lot. So, this is Lair of the White Worm. Two main characters or two main actors. Hugh Grant, who just plays Hugh Grant. Like Hugh Grant has only two characters that are rich, dumb, tough, with this new sort of gangster character he created for the Gentleman, and he's used that a couple of times. But that's him. He's like two modes. That's all he does. But fair enough. We also have Peter Capaldi, one of his earliest roles. I tell you what, it takes me a minute. He's pretty recognizable. And his younger days with the hair and stuff, but really hams it up. So what we've got here is village of Sneer Darby, it's Dampton, sort of West Country type stuff. You've got an archaeologist having a dig in somebody's front garden of a B&B, run by two sisters who, the backstory is their parents went missing, never discovered what happened with them. And even from the get go, like the younger sister, like flirting with like mad with Peter Capaldi's character Angus, and just get introduced to the village. So the new lord of the manor, James Dampton, Hugh Grant's character, obviously daddy's passed away and he's now got the mantle. They're having the village fete sort of celebration every year of the slaying of the Dampton Worm. It's essentially they've sort of tweaked the legend of George and the Dragon and done that. Oh my god! So we go that you get this like country folk song. I actually looked up the lyrics, but I'm not singing to you, so I'll not do that. But yeah, they're really hamming it up. We meet all the village characters. Their specialties. Or pickled worms and stuff, it's all that sort of comedy stuff thrown in. And then part way through, we get introduced to Lady Sylvia. Oh my god, I think she's one of the despite the campiness of this, she's definitely one of the most imposing horror characters in terms of swagger, embracing what she is, and just having fun with it. Do you know why now you see some films take themselves way too seriously these days, forget actually how to have fun with stuff? She's one just I'm the villain. You're going to know I'm the villain within 20 seconds of meeting me, and we'll go for it. I must say, local Bobby, he's it's a village. You've got two policemen who look after everything, and they know everybody's name. Everybody knows their name. All that kind of stuff. Proper old worldly. Oh, I say proper old worldly. Until the mid 2000s, that was Britain. Once you go into rural Britain, outside of the big cities, that's basically where it is, and nothing wrong with it. It can be a bit stifling if you're a weirdo, But the thing about British culture is if you are a little odd, it's okay. It's just labeled out as part of your centuries. If you're aggressive about it and like the way the Americans do, that's kind of seems a bit but there's weirdness, there's kookiness, there's all that kind of stuff, and it's just all part of the fun of people's characters and makeup, and it's embraced in this movie, which is why I love it so much. So Angus's character discovers a skull in the dig, and plus one archaeologist for a dig of significant importance. Yeah, but we've obviously got limited budget, limited characters. They don't want to overcomplicate things, so they'll just keep it just streamlined as possible. He's here doing the dig, fair enough. And Lord Dampton's like, oh, I believe you're digging up my lawn, because he's the landlord, and everyone there's the tenant farmers, tenant Like they run a B&B, so everyone's a tenant on the land, if that makes sense. Which to bypass the whole paperwork thing and stuff, and just nods and yeah, you just turn up, start digging. That's out, and nobody knows about it. It's also casual. Of course, wouldn't be done today. It'd be like 100 forms to fill out, and protesters and other people, and just yeah. So I love the way to make it so simple. But yeah, discovers a skull, and this somehow prompts the events for Lady Sylvia to come back. He wasn't expected back until the spring, and I think that's when she meets. Yeah, she meets the police officer first, PCMA. I actually thought that was Johnny Vegas when I first heard him speak. It's actually an older actor, Paul Brooks. But I actually thought it was there's a comedian in Britain called Johnny Vegas, and I swear this guy is a spit of him. Apart from he's a bit of a squint in his eye. So that's kind of it. But his voice, his mannerisms, absolutely spit. I need to look up to see if these two guys are related. Obviously, Johnny Vegas is the character name. I don't know what his actual name is, but obviously these two are related. They have to be. Just the mannerisms he used and everything else. But yeah, Lady Sylvia, it's really. He goes in because he sees the Temple Manor getting, somebody's going around with a torch, things getting burgled, and he gets bitten, and she just magically appears, and yeah, you see her like sucking the venom out of his leg, and just all the sexual overtones, and then he's not killed, he's dispatched, he's busy, let go back to the village, so to speak. But yeah, that's the introduction to her character. Then she's going about and she meets like, you couldn't do this today without being sinister, but you've got a scout, just randomly hiking, asking for a lift, and like he's a teenager, and she's like she brings back the manor and stuff, and like really hams it up, like really plays in sexuality. This was just so much fun the way it's done, just British in its way. But yeah, he ends up getting bitten. When you get bitten, you get paralyzed. She's going to offer him up as a sacrifice, but somebody rings the doorbell, like it's a ding dong, just like really cheesy, over the top sound effects as well, which is just daft. And then we have Lord Frampton meeting her, and he's walking around in an RAF uniform because so he's off duty, I think. He's returned back. I don't know. They never quite explain it, but he just randomly walks about in an RAF uniform because, all right, let's do that. full number 2 dress, just walking up to the, introducing himself, and then he's number 4 dress for like the rest of it, with see his rank capitalist and stuff. And you're just like, what are you doing? Just but then again, I've met lords like that, so I know the score. If you've ever been in a state or an event or something, like lords and barons are the kookiest people you'll ever meet. So a stereotype's based in some sort of reality. That's kind of Hugh Grant's character. Every movie he ever does, apart from the last 2 or 3. But there you go. So the plot kind of progresses. The discover the girls, the sisters, God's sake, Eve and Mary. Yeah, the 2 sisters, Eve and Mary. Turns out they discovered their father's watch because their parents went missing. So they launch a search party again, then discover the caves, or rediscover the caves, and this all feeds into the plot. It's all hammy as hell, you know what I mean? It's all like, just let's get to the fun stuff in the end, because the kind of first half of this movie is just setting everything up, and it's essentially right. Let's get to the fun stuff. That's the kind of feeling you have with this movie. It's like, okay, let's do the expedition. Let's do the plot. Let's introduce a villain, and then halfway through the movie, right? Let's go. That's what we really want to do, and that's the kind of impression you get from this. And yeah, you don't take it too seriously. You're not meant to. You have to just sit, watch it, have a laugh. There's a wee bit of splatter, and what was it? Eve gets yeah, because Lady Sylvia goes to steal the skull. Now, I have yet to work out the significance of the skull because it's not explained. And even at the end, there's no you know, I mean, this skull just discovered, and it seems to be the catalyst for all these events, but it has absolutely no relation whatsoever to the plot, apart from a plot device. And that's kind of the funniest thing about this. But she goes into the guest house, she steals the skull. That's what happens. Eve touches the venom because she sees a cross. Then Sylvia sees a cross and decides, oh, I can't, you know, like a vampire. Oh, but instead she shows her fangs and squirts venom at it because that doesn't give you away at all. So she's shown herself to be a creature of compulsion as much as, you know, she's striking, she's in charge, she's commanding, but at the same time, she's a slave to her own nature. And it's so subtly played out. And I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it's done that way and it works so well. So they show the two sides of her and without trying very hard, which makes me laugh about modern, you know, some of the movies that come out that are so pretentious and the people that try so hard to do this. And this dopey, daft comedy movie shows more in-depth characters than the super cerebral, big brain serious horror movies like some of the A24 stuff tries to do and fails miserably at. You know, that's I just find it funny. But there you go. Yeah, Eve touches the venom and then she starts getting flashbacks and then we start seeing the crucifixion of Christ. But this time there's a giant worm like circling around the cross, and then there's nuns worshiping the feet. And do you know what it is? It's all almost like Vision Quest type stuff. So it's not literal what happened. And what it's doing, it's telling the story like so quickly. Or giving the birth. So it turns out that Danum, the worm, is an ancient pagan god. He was the original worm in the Garden of Eden. So instead of it being Satan, you know, it was transformed into a snake, it was actually there. And it's the old English worm. You know, I know it's WORM, but it's WYRM. You know, it comes from the old English worm, which is serpent. Because believe it or not, like in sort of southern parts, there's like we've got adders and grass snakes. Down this part of the country, they're not as common as like other parts of the world, but it's just mainly because of the climate here. You know, they're just not. It's just not ideal for reptiles. Amphibian is really great for. That's why we like different species of frog. I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but you know, the kind of damp seaward climate, you know, and the sort of landscape that we have here is suitable for certain animals, but we just don't have like snakes and stuff. Which is funny because you see your typical movie python appear later on, which makes no sense because there's no way that poor thing would be living out in the open the way they try and make it. But there you go. Then we have the whole back and forth. I just trying to solve the mystery. They start digging in a bit more after the skull's stolen. Things ramp up a bit. Then they go and check the caves again. They start seeing the connection. It's really loose at that point. And then Eve gets kidnapped by Lady Silva. Was it before or after the dream sequence? Before, sorry. Lord Dampton has a dream sequence, and that is the trippiest thing. That is definitely 70s inspired. There's a whole dream sequence on a plane, and the characters and so the actors playing, you know, Lady Silva and Eve and Mary, you know, are playing our stewardesses, and they're fine. There's this whole thing. He's got a pen, a red tip, and it's all very phallic and innuendo laden. Once again, very British. Just that whole. We love to play with sexuality over here in terms of have a laugh about it. Not this religious cult-like obsession with it. It's just a bit of slap and tickle is known as, just a bit of rumpy pumpy. Just it's there. We enjoy it, but it doesn't rule our lives. Yeah, and that's all played out in this movie, which is fun. But yeah, you've got this whole dream sequence. But what it's doing is revealing the story of basically the temple law manor was built over the top of a convent, which is built over the top of a sacred site where Diana, the worm, lives. So that was the desecration of the desecration of the desecration sort of thing. You built to me first, but then you built on top of me, but then you built to me, and I'm going to get revenge and blah, 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 that sort of thing. But it turns out that the worm got trapped by a landslide and something was destroyed. Once again, very loose. So Lady Silva is trying to bring the worm back through the medium of a virginal sacrifice, the old classic. And of course, it discovers that Eve's a virgin, so she's perfect for it, that sort of thing. Yeah, and then it just goes mental, which is great. You've got Lord Danton's character leads an expedition up the cave again. The idea is they're going to pump gas into basically they found a vent, a circlet where the watch had flushed out. So they're going to pump gas up the worm. And then Angus is going to lead a rescue mission to get Eve back. They try to kidnap Mary as well. They do kidnap Mary because PC's been obviously converted. So when you get bitten, you become a worm-like vampire creature. That's all fun. So you've got him doing that. Hey, Chris. Yeah, I'm just getting this review done before we bounce over to the other channel. Doing grand. Just trying to review this absolutely hilarious, bonkers movie, which is so much fun. And like I said, you've got Angus then leading the rescue mission. They're doing the research. They do this weird thing as well where they get snake charmer music to lure Lady Sylvia away, and that doesn't work. And it turns out her parents, we don't know what happened to the father. I guess he got eaten, but the mother has been turned into one of the snake things, so she gets involved. They bring her into it, and it doesn't last too long. Yeah. And then Angus, he's there on a research thing, but he manages to bring with him full regalia. So he then turns up in full kilt, sporran, and crosshatch, and a set of bagpipes. And he starts going around the manor playing bagpipes and charming. These snake people, when he starts playing the music, start giving all this business. This is really hammed up with every stereotype you can imagine. So he then fights against PC Army. He gets splattered. Then he goes through the manor. He thinks he's won, and he brings a mongoose because the mongoose is the enemy of the snake planet, even though it's not native to Britain. Mainly they hunt cobras. That's kind of there because that's the area they live in. I think the African king cobra, not the Malaysian one. I think it's an African. Mongoose is African. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just bring down a mongoose just because that's what you do. You just have one in your pocket. And then Sylvia beats it by putting earbuds. She has the earbuds in the whole time, so she's like, ha ha ha, find your evil. This is proper, cloak type stuff, which is just so much fun. You can just tell nobody's giving a thought. Everyone's just having a laugh making this movie, which I love to see. But yeah, then we get the whole scene in the cavern, and this is basically Lady Sylvia is going to make this sacrifice. She's an immortal. She wants to bring back the worm, even though he's already back and alive. So I don't know what that was about. She brings the skull out, makes some sort of thing, and sets it down, but it's absolutely no relevance because it's not the worm's skull that she's trying to bring back to life because the worm's already alive, and she's been feeding it. So feeding it doesn't make a difference. Yeah. So who cares? Nobody cares. It's just a dumb, daft thing just to have a bit of naked people run about and like a big and the cavern in the worm is just so cheesy and daft. It's wonderful. It's like classic 80s, you know, it was the end 80s, but it's just classic 80s movies. Just the facts. And then the ritual's interrupted because Lord Danton's character, they're pumping gas up the basically up its bum. And it's going, whoa, and then it's rushing out early, which is supposed to be trapped down there, but so apparently that does something, but who knows? Then you have the whole hanging scene, so she tries to throw her in, and then she jumps. Angus pushed over because even though he was bitten, he had already injected himself with the antidote, which doesn't make sense towards the end, but yeah, antidotes just get, you know, pulled up like that, minutes, no problem. Like within the space of a day, here's a venom. Can I have the serum for it, please? Yep, there you go. You know, shake it up. There you go. Then you have this whole fight scene, and then he effectively cuts her hand off, and she gets fed to the worm rather than Mary, who rescues. The two girls go off, and he's like, "I'll go back just a minute." And he pulls a hand grenade. I mean, he literally tosses the holy hand grenade. This is who the hell has a hand grenade just hanging about? You know what I mean? It just like pulls it out of his sporran, click. You know, he does that, you know, that sort of thing. And that's it. And you see all the blood and guts shooting up. Just completely daft. And then it all starts to wrap up. The sisters are taken to the hospital. Danton comes back. They're all hardy har, another good job done. And then Angus gets a call from the med lab, from the nurse. Oh, this is nurse. Sorry, the doctor's away, but sorry, we had a mix-up. We'll give you the wrong antidote. Your one's here. You can come and collect it tomorrow. So all of a sudden, Angus has been bitten, and now just by a phone call, because he wouldn't have noticed beforehand, obviously. And then why did the venom wear off if he had already given the fake antidote, which is arthritis medicine? I don't know. You work it out. This is where they don't care about the plot. It's just like, we're having fun here. Let's get this done. So then he all of a sudden becomes, you know, towards the end. And that's the movie. Like I said, it's just daft. It's just completely daft, mental. There's no scary. You know what I mean? It's not, it comes under horror because of the gore and the theme. You know what I mean? It's supernatural, pagan gods, vampires, you know, that's the kind of horror, but it's comedy horror. And like I said to people before, if you're not familiar with the genre, comedy horror is a good way to get in. It's a good way to introduce you to sort of monsters and creatures and just in a daft way. Definitely best. And this is a classic movie just to go. Who do you call her? Sammy Davis, who plays Lady Silva, is gorgeous. Like she's amazing, and just the way she hams up her character, it's just wonderful. Absolutely laugh. There's a whole clever undertone to this. That's the thing about this type of comedy. If it wasn't clever, it would just fall to pieces, and you wouldn't be laughing. But the fact is, it's done so well, but made to look in such a hamshackle sort of don't give a toss way that it actually engages you more with it. And it doesn't try to be anything pretentious, doesn't try to, you know, beat you over the head with any sort of message. It's just there to make you enjoy yourself, have a laugh, and go away. And the thing is, that's why I enjoyed this movie now, watching it, just finished there about 20 minutes ago. I enjoyed it as much now as when it first came out, and when I've watched it since. You know, it's just one of those movies. That's a rare thing. When some old movies you go back to and you watch, you're like, oh my god, what the hell? But the acting and the hamming up and the just having a bit of fun is what makes it so endearing. Yes, the effects are atrocious, but they're not trying to be anything else. You know, they're not trying to make you believe that it's an actual worm or they're actual vampires, or, you know, it's not trying to make you do that. It's just making you go, whoa, that's funny. And that's it. So you can, there's a lot of forgiveness in that, but it's still put together better than some of the CGI nonsense that we see that's so lazy and awful looking. There's quite a bit of heart put into this movie, and it shows. So there you go. There's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. As I said before, I'm going on my buddy's channel in just over an hour's time for the third part of, I put up in the communities tab, of the Forget the Kender series. So we'll be playing that there just about an hour, 9 minutes time. So check out the link. Go and see us. That gives a wee bit of support. Over here, do all the typey clicky things as requested, just to keep us going, keep people engaged, support our contributors, and until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.